So, hello everyone. We are here because the CLAT consortium came out with a notification which gave one simple idea that the CLAT for the 2024 admissions, which means the CLAT that is going to happen in this December, will have 120 questions instead of 150 questions, where the time is still going to be the same. 2-hour paper, which used to be 150 questions, will now be 120 questions with the same 5 sections: English, logic, legal, GK, and maths. So we want to discuss a few things. First is why, and second is what could be the paper, and third is given that fact, would it impact your preparation? So I'll start with the first question, GP.
Yes, Jijo.
Why?
Why? Frankly, every time any examination authority does this kind of a thing, they pin it on the students that it is because of you I have to do this, otherwise everything was perfect. Okay. Now the reality is that this is a paper which is 150 questions to be done in 2 hours, but it has got awful lot of reading to be done. Okay. If we go through the paper, whether it is English, whether it is logic or legal or even GK, each question, each of these sections has 5 to 7 passages. So the amount of, and each passage has a reasonable amount of words, so the amount of reading is insane. And hence students struggle to complete the paper. I don't have problem with them struggling to complete the paper as such, because there are papers which are designed which say, okay, I'll not give sufficient time and see how students best manage. But my problem with the CLAT authorities in 2020, when they made this shift, or rather 2019 or 1920, whenever they made this shift, they came out that we want to reduce the pressure on the students. If they want to reduce the pressure on the students, they said we are reducing questions from 200 to 150, because till then we used to have 200 questions. But they made everything passage wise, which means while they reduce the number of questions, they increase the effort to answer the question, to read the paper double, and hence it was counterproductive. It was visible then also. So I'm actually very happy that they are looking at rationalizing this. Now the key question is, what are they going to reduce? Questions per passage or the number of passages per question? So that is the critical part. But on the face of it, why? To reduce pressure on students so that they can do the paper with lesser amount of pressure.
Right. So what is the stated purpose is to make the paper very student friendly. So the student friendly would mean, like what GP said, is reduce the number of questions, thereby reducing the pressure onto the students. But the second part, which is what the GP just told us, is what is likely going to happen in the paper. I'm just going to go to the whiteboard here. I'll just shift this a little bit and write a few things. Now, if I look at the 2023 paper, which is a 2023 admission, which means what happened last year, we had English. Then I'm going to put logic. This was not the exact order in which the thing came in the paper. The paper is right here.
Yes.
So then we have got legal. We have got your current affairs
or GK,
and then you have got maths or quantitative
techniques,
as they call. So this was 30 questions, logic was 30 questions, legal was 40 questions, current affairs was 35 questions, quant was 15. This was your 150. Now what they're saying that this 150 is going to go to 120.
Right.
So they have to reduce something.
They have to reduce.
So let's look at the two things. There is passage, the number of passage or number of sets, whatever you want to call it, and then questions per passage. So let's look at this point in time, let's just look at what was the 150 story GP.
Yes.
So this was 6 passages
with 5 questions.
5 questions each.
Right.
5 passages with 6 questions each. But this change happened in 2023. Before that,
2019 it was the reverse.
Yeah. And legal was 8 passages with 5 questions each. GK was very strange last year.
5 passages with 7 questions each.
But before that it was
the reverse.
reverse.
So actually from 22 to 23 they have in any case reduced some kind of pressure by reducing 1 passage from legal or from logic and 1 from current affairs.
So this was 3 passages from 5 sets. So and now this has to now go to 120. So one thing they can simply do is 150 to 120 is the logic of 5:4 GP.
Yes.
So this 30 can be made into 24.
Yes.
This 30 will become 24.
Just make everything 80%.
80%. This will be 32. this would be 28, and this would be
12.
12. It doesn't look like a cute set of numbers.
Yeah, but they can always round it. So they could make 24 as 25, 32 and 28 as 30 each. So they could do that kind of a tamasha.
So the logic one is I'm going to keep the number of passages same,
That's same, yes.
but I'll reduce the number of questions. Which means I can, for example, keep the passages same, but the only change that is going to happen in the question, that is logic one.
Right.
Logic two is maybe this can, let's say, go to about 25. Or let me put it this way, that I can reduce the number of passages. But keep the number of questions the same. For example, 5 passages multiplied by 5 questions each, which will be roughly about 25. So my first question GP is logic 1 or logic 2. Logic 1 is reducing the number of questions, keeping the passage same. Logic 2 is reducing the number of passages.
Yes.
Should you reduce passage or questions per passage? So that's a question.
So Jijo, that's a function of what CLAT thinks is being student friendly. Okay. And many a times I found these authorities thinking what is student friendly is actually not student friendly. Okay. But let's forget about what they think. Let's come to what would actually make sense from a student. Now when I'm reading a passage, whether you give me 5 questions or 6 questions, the incremental time required does not change significantly.
Correct.
So in a passage with 4 questions or 5 questions or 6 questions, the only extra time I take is reading that extra question and answering it. The significant effort which goes towards reading and understanding the passage is the same. So if I have to be really student friendly, I should not reduce the number of questions per passage, I should reduce one passage. So English could, instead of 6 passages, could become 5 passages. Logic, instead of 5 passages, could become 4 passages. Legal, instead of 8, could become 6 or 5 passages. So if you really want to be student friendly, reduce the number of passages or in the entire paper by around 1 passage per section.
So let's rewrite what GP is saying. Let's assume that if GP was a part of consortium GP.
Yes. And if I was a part of consortium, I would not have allowed this. Okay, let me not get into that. There are many issues I have with the paper, but that's a separate
So 25, 25.
Yeah.
Let's keep this 30.
Yes.
Let's keep this 30.
Yeah.
Let's keep this 10.
Yes.
And then you have total as 120. In this 25, let's reduce one passage.
Yeah, I would say do
5 passages multiplied by 5 questions. They already reduced the number of passages last year.
Yeah.
So therefore, let's keep it 5 passages multiplied by
5
questions.
Yes.
8 is sort of too much.
8 is much. 6 passages.
6 passages multiplied by 5 questions.
Yes.
GK doesn't matter because
actually GK is a stupid way of doing this paper by giving passages. I am yet to come across any successful student who reads these passages.
So whatever version, 5 into 6
you give it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And math is probably 2 sets.
Yes.
Or I'm going to 2 passages into 5 questions. And this is what it does is the number of passages becomes here. The number of passages that we are reading is how much? 11, 19.
19 and 8, 27.
19 plus 8 is 27. Yeah.
27.
27 passages is what we are reading here. And here we got 10 and then 12, that is 22.
And 2, 24.
24 passages.
So strictly speaking, Jijo, there is a reduction from 27 to 24. Okay. But for all practical purposes, not a reduction from 27 to 24. It is a reduction from 22 to 19.
So basically, if I ignore,
because no one I know reads the GK passages.
So if I just remove GK out of it, so this is a reduction from 22 passages to
19 passages.
19 passages.
Okay. So where is the reduction happening? Your reduction is happening 1 in English, 2 in legal, okay, and 1 in quant. So that should be 4, na?
Correct. So reduction.
So maybe that total was wrong.
So what, 18? Maybe.
18, yes. 22 to 18, which I think will be a good thing because 4 passages means I would say each passage takes about 4 to 5 minutes. So there's a 20-minute extra available to a student, and student needs to do now the same work in something like 100. It's like saying instead of 120 minutes, I'm giving you 140 minutes. So either give 20 minutes extra or reduce work of 20 minutes, more or less both of them are the same thing. Okay? This is what I would think should be done if CLAT is serious about what they are saying.
Yeah. So the thing is, at this point in time, we don't know exactly what the CLAT is going to do. I'm sure that they will come out with sample paper and give more clarity in the days to come. So the idea that we believe that what CLAT is likely going to do is reduce the number of passages, because reducing the number of questions is not really any reduction.
Yeah.
Because if you read the passage, you can solve 4 questions or 5 questions without any sort of extra effort.
Yeah, the extra effort would be half a minute only.
Correct.
Okay. And in GK, there's no extra effort. so current affairs GK, there's no extra effort. So which is why this is what I would presume they would do.
If they really want to create a student-friendly paper, they have to do something with respect to what they're doing with current affairs. So you have a question on the World Cup. The question is, German team wore a band. Tell me what the name of the band is.
Okay.
Now the more important question, right? Which is, does it impact the students' preparation? Does anything change?
Okay. In any paper, there are 2 things. One is the structure of the paper. Second is content. Structure means how many sections, how many questions are there, how much time is given. So the structure is this. The second is content of the question. The questions are not changing. The type of question they are going to ask remain the same. So when the content does not change, your preparation does not change. You still need to study logic. You may hate logic, but you still need to go through it. You still need to do your RC passages. You still need to go through those DI sets. Okay, so the questions remain the same, your preparation does not change. What changes is only the way you are going to take the test. Right now, you are struggling to finish 150 questions in 2 hours. When it becomes 120 minutes, you are that much more relaxed in the paper, and hence you will not be under a significant time pressure. So that is the only change which is going to happen. So no change in preparation, significant change in the way you take the paper.
So any which case, when you look at the paper, if you keep it very simple, I read, I solve, those element is not going to change. But there is sort of one probable issue that you might face till the time CLAT consortium is going to give a clear direction.
Yes.
That is your mock test. Some experimentation is going to happen.
Yes.
So from one mock test to the next mock test, till a clear clarity is there, whichever is the mock test that you're doing, what is going to happen is that there might be a few experiments, I call GP, or
Yes.
assumptions about what likely could come.
Yeah, so at LST, what we are likely we would do is, if CLAT comes out with a clear instruction or the paper pattern in the next couple of days, we'll go with that. But if CLAT does not come out with any clear instructions or guidance as to what the paper is likely to be, we cannot stop your preparation. We will make our assumptions, experiment with 2-3 different patterns, so that whatever pattern comes out, you will be able to handle it. Okay? And which is why I always say, if CLAT is very serious about being student friendly, they should come out with the structure ASAP, hopefully in the next 1 week or so.
Yeah. So, to sum up, the change is a student-friendly change. The student-friendly change will happen if the change is to reduce the number of passages. That's what we are hoping. Nothing happens to your preparation. Nothing major happens the way in which you're going to take the test. Nothing major. Obviously, they have to make some adjustments. Nothing major in terms of your mock that you're getting, the test that you're going to get. Till the time any clarity comes, there might be some experimentation, but we are hoping, GP, that they will come out with a clear clarification. I'm sure that they'll come out with it. That's what they promised. So, all the best.
All the best.